Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie. In this video, I want to give you guys the recap of day number 1 of the New York Giants and the New York Jets joint practice over at the Giants practice facility. This was a light practice. Nothing really crazy happened in today's practice to really break down. There are two injuries to report, but according to Robert Saleh, he says that they're both going to be okay, both of them on the defensive side of the ball. Joe Flacco had an interesting day finding Elijah Moore all over the place, and apparently the New York Giants got the better of the New York Jets defense. So in this video, we're going to give you guys my thoughts of all the reports we saw on Twitter, diving deep into the Jets and Giants joint practice number 1 before the finale of the preseason, which is this Sunday at MetLife Stadium at 1 o'clock. Before we hop into the video, I just want to mention, if you guys are new to Jets Media, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Got a lot of Jets content coming your way leading up until the season, of course. And if you guys enjoy the video, please do not forget to thumbs it up and comment down below your thoughts of what your takeaways are from the New York Giants and the New York Jets joint practice today, based off all the reports and the clips that you guys have been seeing over on Twitter. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So first, we're going to refer to Conor Hughes of The Athletic. He is so the first thing that he tweeted out was, I thought it was interesting. Saleh and Dable just called both teams together before full team drill start. They broke on New York. So it was the Jets and the Giants in the same huddle with both coaches saying something, and they broke with New York. So they kind of wanted to start off practice with not a lot of urgency to get into fights. I think Dable earlier today said that he does not want this to be a WWE performance or a UFC where they just fight. They want this to be a civil environment where the Jets and the Giants can really just practice together and learn from each other instead of making it, some type of battle of New York and getting into a rivalry. So they started off practice with both teams in the same huddle with two of the head coaches saying stuff, which I thought that's pretty interesting. So getting into what Conor Hughes had to say about the play-by-play, he was watching the offense of the Jets going up against the Giants defense. The first thing he says is Flacco found Moore for a big gain over the middle. He sat down in the zone, and then again, Flacco to Moore. He was behind the defense for 3 to 4 yards, but it was incomplete because Andrew Adams had a DPI. Would have been a big gain. Giants don't have much of an answer for Elijah Moore at the moment. So it seemed like early on in practice, Elijah Moore is stepping up once again. Elijah Moore was the star against the Atlanta Falcons in the joint practices, and of course, in the first practice against the New York Giants, he is becoming the star. If you guys have watched Jets Media all off-season long, you guys know that I think that man right there, Elijah Moore, is going to have a breakout season this year for so many different reasons. So it really is awesome to see all these reports that Elijah Moore continuously is impressing and looking like a guy that nobody has any answers for. His route running, his quickness, his decisiveness, his mentality, everything about Elijah Moore screams like a breakout player in year number 2, and I cannot be more excited to see what he can do for the New York Jets this year. Hopefully Zach Wilson can get back as soon as possible, because I want to see that Zach Wilson and Elijah Moore connection in year number 2. But I do think that Joe Flacco is going to feed Elijah Moore a lot if he has to play the first couple of weeks for the New York Jets. And then Conor Hughes mentions that Martindale is throwing some exotic blitz looks at Joe Flacco. The last 2 plays, everyone has been standing. Flacco checked out after 1 incompletion, hit Johnson in the flat for a big gain. So it does feel like the Giants defense, they were trying to get creative with their defensive looks, but it did not really affect Joe Flacco as much. Mike White got intercepted, of course. And then the 2 players that got injured to talk about is Jermaine Johnson and DJ Reed. But according to Robert Saleh, they're both going to be fine. DJ Reed was getting looked at on his knee, while Jermaine Johnson was getting looked at on his lower leg. Jermaine Johnson returned to practice afterwards, and I think DJ Reed returned to the sideline as well. So luckily, they avoided any big time significant injuries. But hopefully that we find out what the actual injury is. As from recording this video, we do not know, other than Robert Saleh saying that both DJ Reed and Jermaine Johnson will be fine. Then getting into the next time Joe Flacco went onto the field. Great throwing catch. Flacco finds Corey Davis touchdown in the back of the end zone. Very small window. Corey Davis beat Jackson. And then another touchdown from Joe Flacco, this one to Garrett Wilson. So it's good to see Joe Flacco in the red zone period finding his receivers for the touchdowns on back-to-back plays, one to the veteran Corey Davis, the other to the rookie Garrett Wilson. It's really crazy, guys. The wide receivers for this Jets team is so stacked. This is the deepest position that the Jets have ever had at this wide receiver room in quite some time, because I just talked about Elijah Moore for a couple minutes. And now we're at to talk about Garrett Wilson, who looked really good in week number 2 of the preseason in his limited time out there on the field. And the veteran Corey Davis is being slept on by a lot of Jets fans, in my opinion. And then not to mention, we still have Braxton Berrios. So I love to see all these Jets receivers making plays. Joe Flacco spreading the ball around all over the place. positive signs all over the place. The final play of the red zone period was a pass from Mike White to Denzel Mims. So Mike White obviously has not been the star of the preseason in terms of the quarterback room. It's been Chris Streveler. So it is cool to see Mike White bouncing back and hitting Denzel Mims. And Mims is another player to talk about, right? He had an interesting game week 2. He looked pretty good, but Denzel Mims is a guy that really needs to prove to the coaching staff to make this roster, not get traded, and be on this team and make a significant impact this season, because there's a lot of guys ahead of him on the depth chart, like I just said. Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Braxton Berrios. Those are the top 4 receivers. So Denzel Mims has a lot of, proving to do in the training camp in the last game of the preseason. And then Joe Flacco throws an interception after the back-to-back touchdowns from Corey Davis to Garrett Wilson. So now the Jets starts the unscripted period, and Flacco with the laser to Garrett Wilson for first down, sideline audible after that. And then overall, that's really it from what we saw from the Jets offensively speaking. So basically, what I took away from Conor Hughes' tweets about what the Jets did offensively, it felt like Joe Flacco was moving the ball with Elijah Moore, feeding him the rock a lot. They did not have any answers for Elijah Moore. And then the red zone period, he finds Corey Davis and then Garrett Wilson on back-to-back plays, and then he throws an interception. Now, if you want to talk about the Jets defense, apparently that the Giants offense got the best of the Jets defense. Daniel Jones hasn't missed in his first 8 attempts. He was 8 of 8 in 2 team drill periods. 1 incomplete was a free play because the Jets were offsides. So this obviously is not what you want to see. I think that Daniel Jones threw an interception on his last pass attempt. I'm not sure who it was from, but hearing that the Giants offense is getting the better of the Jets defense is definitely not what you want to hear as a Jets fan, because apparently the Giants offense has been struggling a lot in training camp, finding their footing with Daniel Jones. And the fact that the Jets starting defense is getting cooked by that is a little concerning. I don't know how much we can read into this, because we saw in the preseason game against the Falcons, first of all, the starters weren't out there, so it's really hard to evaluate it. But there's no, sugarcoating the slow start, letting people be wide open. The scheme that they're running, they really have to get pressure on the quarterback. Even though there were other reports saying that the Jets would have a lot of sacks if it really would have counted, like where Daniel Jones threw the ball, even though the pocket was collapsing, and it probably would have been a sack in a real game. So it's really hard to evaluate. Don't read too much into these reports, because it's really hard to evaluate what happened on the practice field just based on tweets. But that's really the only thing we have as Jets fans referring to it, because none of us are able to be at practice. So that's really my thoughts of the Jets and Giants joint practice number 1. Let me know your biggest takeaways down below in the comment section, your biggest takes from all the different reports that we saw. To recap it overall, DJ Reed and Jermaine Johnson got nicked up, but apparently they're going to be okay according to Robert Saleh. It was a civil practice, no fights. They started off with a nice civil huddle between both teams, and they ended off with a New York. Joe Flacco found Elijah Moore all practice long. Elijah Moore looks like he's unguardable, of course. Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis touchdown. Joe Flacco interception. Mike White had a pick. Mike White also had a touchdown to Denzel Mims. And the Giants offense absolutely beat the New York Jets defense. So that's really the biggest recap and the biggest takeaways from the New York Jets and Giants joint practice number 1. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Love to hear what you guys have to say. And please do not forget to like the video if you guys enjoy. Your boy's out. I'll catch you guys next time. Let's go Jets. Peace out.